Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I will mention about the use of the absolute path and the relative path when specifying the location for files and directories. Let me start with a demonstration for this purpose, people. Let me start by checking my present working directory. Now, when I run the pwd command, it reports that /home/prem is my present working directory. That's the home directory for the prem user with whose account I am working with in the system at this moment. Now let me do this, people. ls is the command that I'm going to run. This time I am specifying, I'll repeat this. Along with the ls command, I specify a argument /var/tmp. Now please look at this path that I specified, people. This is called absolute path. Please remember that the absolute path for a file or a directory will always be specified from the root directory onwards, and it will work irrespective of the present working directory. So here, please have a careful look at this. In this path that I specified /var/tmp, the first character, the forward slash, is the root directory. Within that root directory, there is a subdirectory with the name var. Within that var subdirectory, there is a subdirectory with the name tmp. This kind of path is called absolute path for the directory /var/tmp, and it will work irrespective of whatever is my present working directory. Please have a careful look at this, people. My present working directory now is /home/prem. However, I will now get the listing of files in the /var/tmp directory. That is what I got now. And just to check that the absolute path works in the same way irrespective of the present working directory, let me do this, people. I will now navigate into the /etc directory, cd space /etc. This command will help me in navigating to the /etc directory. After the cd command, it is always a good idea to use the pwd command to check and verify that the previous cd command has successfully taken us to the required present working directory or the required directory. Now my present working directory is /etc, people. That's the result of this command cd/etc, and here also I have used the absolute path. The root directory has a subdirectory with the name etc. I have navigated into that directory with the help of the cd command, and immediately on running the cd command, it is a good idea to use the pwd command to check and verify that the previous cd command has successfully taken us to the required directory. And I have verified that, people. My present working directory now at this moment, it is /etc. Now let's try this. ls/var/tmp. Now my present working directory at this moment is /etc directory. However, when I run this command, the command that I am running is this, people, ls followed by the absolute path for the /var/tmp directory. Now I will get the same result like the previous ls/var/tmp command that I have executed earlier, even though the present working directory was different at that time. I'll get the same result now also, people, like this command. The reason is that the absolute path for a file or directory will work irrespective of whatever is my present working directory. Please have a careful look. When I run this command, I got the listing of all the files that are available in the /var/tmp directory, and in fact all those are subdirectories that we have below /var/tmp directory. Now there is another type of path. I'm sorry, people, I'll repeat this. There is another type of path that we can use when specifying the location for the files and directories That is called relative path. Now let me do this, people. Here I use the cd command now to navigate into the /var directory, and also I verify the same with the pwd command, and I find that the pwd command is reporting that /var is my present working directory at this moment. Now I know that the /var directory has a subdirectory with the name tmp. So if I want to list the contents inside the tmp directory, that is a subdirectory of my present working directory, I can do this, people. ls tmp, and this kind of path is called relative path because it is working with respect to or relative to the present working directory. Please remember that the relative path always depends on the present working directory because it is working with respect to or relative to the present working directory. So please clearly understand, people, how the absolute path works and how the relative path works. Now I go into the /etc directory, people, once again with the help of the cd command like this, and I check my present working directory, which is /etc at this moment. Now I can use a relative path specification like this to get a listing for the file with the name hosts, which is available in the /etc directory. And since I know I'm already having the /etc directory as my present working directory, I can simply mention the file name, people, which is hosts, and this kind of specification, again, it is called relative path because I am not specifying the path from the root directory onwards, and I am only specifying the file name here. So it works with respect to the present working directory, and I know already that the /etc directory has a file, a text file with the name hosts, and ls command will now report the listing for that file. However, with the syntax that I have used here, people, the ls command will report only the file name. However, if I want to get a long listing output from the ls command for this file, I can use this, people, ls command along with the l option followed by the file name. You see here, I got a long listing this time. Again, here also I have used the relative path. In this example, also I have used the relative path. This is called relative path. Alright, people. Now, if we get a question, which one is best to use, the relative path or the absolute path? Okay, let me write like this, people, in a notepad document. Which path to use for which, I'm sorry, I'll repeat this, people. Which path to use for specifying the file name or directory name? Whether we should use relative path or absolute path? That's the question, people. So the answer is like this, people. Okay, for this the answer will be like this. Okay, I will say the answer is both relative path and absolute path are very useful. Okay, both relative path and absolute path are very useful when specifying the location for a file or directory. Now, the use case scenario typically for the relative path will be like this, people. The relative path for a file, the relative path for a file or directory can be used depending on the scenario, people. Depending on the scenario, when working, okay, I'm sorry, when working interactively with the command line, right? And when specifying the file name or directory name in shell scripts or in the context like jobs that are scheduled using at or cron jobs, it is best to specify the absolute path for that file name or directory name. I can say like this, people. Okay, it's like this. When specifying the file name or directory name in shell scripts and jobs scheduled using at and cron jobs, it is best to specify the absolute path for that file or directory. All right, people, like this I can say, okay, when specifying the file, location of the file, of a file or directory. I'll repeat this, people, I'm sorry. When specifying the location for a file or directory in shell scripts, and I'm sorry, I'll repeat this completely, people. This portion, when specifying the location for a file or directory in shell scripts and jobs scheduled using at and cron jobs, it is best to specify the absolute path for that file or directory. So this is how both type of path are very useful in case of Linux and Unix systems, people. So in short, I'll say that both relative path and absolute path are very useful in case of Linux and Unix systems when specifying the location for files and directories. Alright, people, with that I will conclude this presentation. Please subscribe to this channel and also share this channel if you find that this channel is useful to you in learning about Linux related topics. Thank you.